Hi, I'm Wes with Riding Good Solutions. Today, let's talk about how to protect yourself while using Facebook. Okay, so three things you need to do to protect yourself when using Facebook is one, you need to be aware of common scams that are happening online. So, first thing we're going to do is just go over about the top 10 that just through online research that I found that seem to be the most common. The second thing you need to do is adjust your settings, which we'll go through some of my recommended settings that will make you a little bit of a harder target. And the third thing is just go over some habits. Just employ good habits so that you can detect and deter any potential cyber criminals that want to exploit you while you're using Facebook. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so let's start it off by getting into awareness, right? So, what is awareness? It's what the wolves are doing. When I say wolves, I mean cyber criminals, right? What are the bad guys doing? Make yourself aware of that. That way you can recognize it when it's starting to happen to you. That's the big takeaway from that, right? So let's just get into it. What I do is I did a little bit of online research and kind of found like what are about like 10 of the most common scams that seem to be happening on Facebook. And these are ones that I've found. This isn't all encompassing by any means. That's my little disclaimer, but these are at least enough of them that I think it'll at least give you an idea that, okay, maybe maybe I should be aware of these, and if this is happening to me, then let's recognize it and get ahead of it. All right. So starting off, let's get with impersonation scams. What an impersonation scam on Facebook typically involves is someone's creating a fake account that mimics a real person. Sometimes it might even hacked into a friend's account or something like that. And what they're trying to do is they're going to reach out to the victim and they're going to claim that, hey, I need money, or I need your personal information, or I need help with some kind of problem or something like that. What they're going to do is they're going to try to get some kind of a sense of urgency out of you so that you feel compelled to act quickly to help them out. Then what they're going to do is they're going to take your money and they're going to run. The big takeaway from this right here is this is why it's so important to authenticate the person that you're talking to. If someone's ever asking for money from you on Facebook, reach out to them on the side and call them on your phone. If you don't have their number, then man, maybe you don't know them well enough to give them money, dude. Just think about that for a minute, okay? Moving on though, let's get into prize scams. And what a prize scam on Facebook typically involves is it's a user receiving some kind of a message or a post, and it's claiming that they've won a contest or a prize, or something that just sounds like it's too good to be true, right? And what scammers are usually trying to do is they're trying to get either your personal information or maybe payment for shipping, or participation in a survey that makes you claim the prize or something like that. And what they're going to do is like they're going to use some official looking logo, maybe use some like persuasive language that appears legitimate, but ultimately it's a tactic to steal your personal information or your money. So always verify the source before you respond. Okay, if it says it's Publishers Clearinghouse, but you've never touched them before, like I don't know, man. If it says you win the lottery and you've never actually played the lottery, odds are it's a scam. Okay, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Okay. Okay, next we'll talk about our fake charity scams. And what they typically involve are it's when a scammer creates a bogus profile or a page, and they pretend to be a legitimate charity, right? We're talking about, okay, save the whales, these poor puppy dogs are dying, whatever it is, right? And these scams often arise during times of crisis or disaster. So just example, like let's say that it's like these hurricanes that just happened down in like Florida and North Carolina. It's a very good possibility that a bogus charity might actually pop up claiming to do like disaster response or something like that. And they'll start soliciting donations. But the thing is like they're not actually going to use those donations to go towards anything legitimate. They're just going to take the money and run, right? So they're going to use emotional appeals, use like heartwarming stories and images to manipulate users into like donating money and stuff like that. So just the big way to avoid falling victim to one of these scams is that you got to research the charity. Just Google them. See did they actually are they a legitimate 501c3 company, things along those lines, right? You should be able to easily find whether or not it's a legitimate company. If it seems a little bit suspicious, odds are it's a scam. All right, so just go with like the vetted ones that you can easily find on social on the internet, on Google, and verify that it actually is a legitimate charity. So investment scams are another big problem on Facebook, and I mean they're kind of self-explanatory, but typically what it is that it's a fraudulent scheme that promises high returns and little risk, right? They're going to be a bunch of persuasive ads and posts. Scammers are going to talk about some awesome stock or cryptocurrency or real estate opportunity that you have to get involved in. This is going to be like the deal of a lifetime, right? The big thing here is that it's probably going to sound too good to be true, right? If it sounds too good to be true, then it is. If it sounds like you're a complete fool, if you miss out on it, whatever, man, I'll just make my money the honest way. The biggest thing to be aware of here is that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. All right, so online dating scams, also known as romance scams on Facebook, typically involve when someone creates like a fake profile to exploit users that are looking for a romantic relationship, right? You see this a lot with like older people that are like maybe like widows or something like that that are they've been married for a long time and now they're trying to get back in the game, whatever, right? The big thing here is that scammers are trying to present themselves as some attractive, like trustworthy person, and they're gonna just initially just engage in conversation to build rapport, and then they're eventually gonna start asking for little things like money or for gifts or for like your personal information. Then eventually they might like need you to come be the hero because they're stuck in an airport somewhere with no money and they need their credit card was lost and they need you to come help them out, right? These scams are like they happen all the time, man. Like I personally knew somebody that fell victim to one of these things. They thought that like some famous person was actually like saying that they were going to date them, and it's like, but they they're famous, but they needed to borrow $200, right? Like it was total bogus, right? But the big thing here though is that like these scams can be like really damaging emotionally to people and financially. Sometimes people like develop strong feelings for these people and kind of find out it was totally bogus, right? So the big takeaway from these is that anytime you get into like a romantic relationship, this is maybe I'm old fashioned, but it's not a real relationship until you've met in person. That's just the bottom line, guys. And it's very popular to meet people online. Got it, but I'm telling you, until you have actually met face to face and verified this person actually does exist, it's not an official relationship yet. Maybe I'm old fashioned. You can ding me for it later, but that's just the way I see it. So big thing here is that always authenticate the person is real before you start sending them things. All right, so phishing. If you've ever been in a cybersecurity class or anything like that, you've definitely heard about phishing. Phishing typically occurs through like messages, posts, or fake pages that attempt to impersonate legitimate entities. Like it might be like your friend, their account got hacked or something like that. I'm using this as an example because it happened to me before. One of my friends got hacked. They sent me a message saying, "Hey Wes, this looks like you," and it's got a link to it, right? And they're betting on you clicking on that link, and then it's going to install some kind of malicious software on your phone, right? Who knows what it is, or on your device. So they're very common. Like sometimes you see it where a scammer might send a direct message that looks like it's from, another official account or something like that, and it's asking the user to like click a link to like verify their account or claim a prize or update information or something like that, right? They very often at least lead to like a fake login page that might like mimic the real Facebook site. And so whenever you unknowingly enter in your credentials, oops, they just got your information. So just be aware of those. All right, free trial scams. These typically involve like it's some free trial to a product or a service. Oftentimes it has something to do with like fitness, health, beauty, whatever. And scammers are typically advertising these free trials to lure in a user with an enticing deal. Once you sign up, you might be asked to provide like payment information, though, right? After that, they're going to take that payment information and start using it against you. In many cases, after that trial period ends, you're automatically enrolled in a subscription, and you're charged for a product without your consent or something like that, right? So some of these scams, they also involve like low quality products, like it's like a knockoff workout video or something like that. It doesn't really match the advertised claim. So in order to avoid these scams, the biggest thing is just to just be careful what you sign up for. If it looks a little bit scammy or whatever, stay away from it. And always don't just rely on Facebook. Like go Google that entity, and then also Google that entity's name with the word scam on the end of it, and then just see what pops up. Sometimes you'd be surprised. All right, so job offer scams on Facebook. So these involve fake job postings or offers that lure users into providing personal information or for like paying fees, right? Scammers may create profiles or pages that look legitimate, and they're advertising some attractive job opportunity that promises like high pay, minimal effort, your dream job, but something that's going to lure you in through something really enticing. Once a user expresses interest, they may be asked to submit personal details like a social security number, or pay for things like training or background checks or equipment. Often the job just doesn't exist, and a victim may end up losing money or having their identity stolen. So to avoid these scams, the biggest thing is to research the company and just be skeptical of offers that just, again, sound too good to be true. And whatever you do, never pay an upfront fee for a job. It is just not a good idea. All right, fake account verification scams. These involve scammers impersonating Facebook or other trusted entities, and they're going to claim that the user's account needs to be verified. So what they might do is send them, like they might send messages or like create fake posts asking users that you need to confirm your identity or complete a verification process, often like through some kind of a link, right? So a lot of times these links will lead to like a phishing site, and it's designed to steal personal information like your login credentials or your payment details. In some cases, the user might be asked to pay a fee for verification, right? To protect yourself, like always verify that these requests are through the official Facebook channels. Avoid clicking on suspicious links, and then never provide personal information unless you are sure of the source. And last but not least, gift card scams. So what a gift card scam is when it involves, it's when a scammer is asking individuals to buy gift cards as a form of payment to help someone in need or something along those lines, right? These scams can take various forms. Like sometimes it can be used in combination with one of the other ones that we already talked about, like an impersonation scam or a fake contest giveaway, or even like a tech support scam where like a scammer might pose as a technical support rep, and then they're going to claim that there's an issue with your account and it can be resolved, but you have to purchase a gift card for it, right? Bottom line is that having to pay for something by purchasing a gift card is a little bit suspicious, right? So once the victim buys the gift cards, they're usually instructed to send like the card number and the PIN to the scammer, and they're going to cash them out, and that's the end of it, right? So to avoid these scams, just be skeptical of unsolicited requests for gift cards, and then always verify the identity of the requester. You're kind of seeing a theme with this, right? All right, so settings. Let's get right into it. So first thing you got to do is get into the Facebook account you're looking to secure your settings on. In this case, we're helping out Rob Smith. So we're going to go into the top right corner right here where you see the little person icon which says account. Click on that. Scroll down where you see settings and privacy. Go there. And then you'll see this little place, the third one down, says privacy checkup. You also see this privacy center, but we're going to focus on where it says privacy checkup. And what this is, it'll take you to this little center right here. Facebook's actually done a pretty good job of making a privacy review pretty seamless for you. Like they've kind of simplified it in a lot of different ways. You can see they got those 5 sections right there that are just little subcategories that you can go into to secure settings. But there's also these 3 little dots right here that before we get into it, let's click on that, and what you'll see is you can set up reminders, right? You can also share about it and show other friends about this setting in here. So before you even get started, before you even forget, set up reminders real quick. And you can see you can do it every week, every month, every 6 months, or every year. I think every week is pretty excessive. I don't really know why you need to do it that often. Every month sounds pretty excessive to me too. Every 6 months, every year, you're probably good there. I'm gonna go with every 6 months, just because that's kind of the habit that I've personally gotten into. So we're gonna click save there. Now, before we get too far into it, just the strategy that I want you guys to kind of implement here is just ask yourself, what information that I'm putting on Facebook could potentially be used by a cyber criminal against me, okay? What I mean by that is there are a lot of criminals out there that are like social engineers and stuff like that, where they're going to take data that they can find about you online and use that to impersonate someone you trust or whatever, or impersonate you to maybe get into your bank account or something like that, right? So think, okay, what information that I'm putting out there could possibly be used by a criminal against me, okay? And so with that in mind, we're going to move on. The first one we're going to is a little orange one right here. Says, who can see what you share? Let's click on that. And we're going to click continue. All right, cool. So here you can take a look at all these little subcategories. By the way, all this information is bogus, so don't think that you're going to like get into my personal account by looking at this. I don't think Rob actually exists. So here, email. Why would you really want anyone to see your email? Personally, if I want someone to have my email, I hand it out to them. All right, so I'm going to keep that at only me. But your other options are Public, friends, only me, or you can customize it. I'm going to keep it at only me. Done. Birthday. This could be a little bit controversial for some people. I'm of the opinion I really don't care if anybody's sending me like happy birthday messages on Facebook or anything like that. That's just me. But look at the different settings that you can have in here for both the day and the year. You can put it on public, friends, only me, or you can customize it, right? Personally, I keep it at only me. And the reason I do that is, let's say that someone does fool me and they become one of my friends on Facebook, but it's a bad guy or whatever. They have the ability to see what my birth date is and then use that to, I don't know, take out a car loan in my name. It's one more little data point they can use against me. So I'm going to personally keep that at only me. If you want to be a little more open with it, if you like those happy birthday messages, you can go to friends. Just understand that if you do that and you make a mistake and you allow someone into your little circle that doesn't need to be there, now they have your birthday, right? So personally, I'm of the opinion you should keep it only me. Next, the birth year. I say keep that only me for sure. All right. You don't need to know someone's birth year to wish them a happy birthday. Right. Again, one more data point that can be used against you. Here's all the options you can go with. I'm keeping it only me for sure. Do not ever put it on public. I don't know why anybody would need to know that. Right. All right. Friends and followings. Who can see your friends list on your profile? Click on that. You can go public, you can go friends, you can go friends except, you can go specific friends or only me, right? I go with friends on this one because, it is a social media site. I want people to be able to see the things I share. Public, just keep in mind, like if you, you share your, I don't know, your political opinion or something like that on Facebook and it goes public and someone's looking to maybe attack someone with those certain political views, well, you might have just made yourself a target to them, right? So I say keep it to your friends. That's just my own personal opinion. You can also do friends accept, and if you do that, what it'll do is it'll take you in here, and you can like look for a specific friend in your friends list that you don't want them to see your post for whatever reason. You're ghosting them or whatever. And then, you can also just pick specific friends if you're really keeping your circle close. I would just keep it at friends. Moving along, who can see the people pages and lists that you follow? Let's go in here, and I have the same recommendations as the last one. I just go with friends on that. Next. Now, posts and stories. So you can decide who you want to see your posts and your stories. Again, I kind of have my default audience just to friends right there, right? There's the options. You're kind of seeing a trend in here, right? But again, I keep it with friends personally. Stories, control who can see your stories. Stories are visible for 24 hours on Facebook and Messenger. Again, here's the settings. I go friends only. You can also hide stories from if for whatever reason you don't, want your mom to see it or whatever. I don't know. I keep it at friends. And then limit past posts. Now, what this does is you can read the little blurb right there. Change who can see past posts that were public or friends of friends to only friends. Only tagged in these posts and their friends may still see them. So anyone tagged in those posts and their friends can still see them. So basically what this does is it'll take those past posts and it'll make it to where only those friends, those posts that were public or friends of friends is going to be shifted to only friends. So I'm going to hit limit. It'll give you a little scare message. Don't worry about it. Next, blocking. When you block someone, they'll no longer be able to see the things you post on your timeline, tag you, invite you to events or groups, start a conversation with you, or add you as a friend. So this basically just allows you to take a look at the list of people that you've blocked. Okay, like if there's someone out there that you think might be like stalking you or they're harassing you or things along those lines, block them. Like who cares? If you know it's a fake account and you suspect that they could be up to no good, just block them. I would err on the side of caution when it comes to blocking people. Like, why not? And that's it for that one topic right there, okay? So we're going to click on review another topic, and we're going to go to how people can find you on Facebook. Moving on. Boom. You're in control of who can send you friend requests. Who can send you friend requests? Friends of friends or everyone. More secure is going to be friends of friends, obviously, right? If you do everyone, just something to keep in mind is if there's some guy from a cybercrime gang in Nigeria that wants to send you a friend request, what's stopping them from sending you a friend request? And becoming like like using like a troll account or something like that. You're a little more secure by going friends of friends. Next, here, like your phone number and your email. I don't really I like putting this to no one on both of these. So, I mean, you can kind of read a little blurb there. If someone has your phone number or your email address, you can choose if you want to be suggested to them based off of that information. I err on the side of like least privilege on this kind of stuff, right? You can kind of take a look at this stuff. I go with no one personally. You're going to be more secure with that for sure. If you really wanted to, you could go with friends. But again, think about how easy it is for a friend's account to either be hacked or whatever. I default to no one. Search engines definitely have this toggled off. If you have it toggled on, what will end up happening is your profile is going to be visible on Google. I prefer to have it locked down to where it is absolutely private. So make sure that it's toggled to the off position. And that's it for that topic. Now let's go into how to keep your account secure. And now you're getting a little more of the cybersecurity type stuff, okay, like your password, two-factor authentication, things like that. So moving in here, your password, is your password private? It's amazing how many people out there use weak passwords, okay? The most secure thing to do is to use a password manager. And what that'll do, if you don't know, a password manager develops strong passwords for you, so you don't have to make up a really strong one on your own and then remember it. It'll do that for you, and then it'll store it in a password vault. That way, it's someplace safe. So you only have to remember the one password to get into the vault, and then it has all your passwords in there. So I highly recommend you guys use a strong password you got from a password manager. If you have a weak password, let's say it's like 6 digits, and it's like I don't know, it's like your high school mascot or something like that. That's instantaneously crackable. Okay, if you have it more like, I don't know, like 18 digits, and it has a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and then little characters. It takes like over 1 billion years or something like that to crack one of those things with current technology. So you're way better off using a strong password, and you don't even have to know what it is. You just go in your password manager, and it has it for you. So if you need to change it, go right here, change your password, and set it to something secure. Next, two-factor authentication. In this case, I have it on. If you click Manage, what it'll do, it'll take you to to the account center, and it's a little bit a little more complicated than some of the other stuff on here. But go into, where are you? It's under password and security. Boom. Then you go to two-factor authentication. Okay. In here, we're gonna go to Rob's little thing here. Boom. And then what it's going to do is going to send you a little code to your email that you can use, and they can send you a new code in 10 seconds or whatever it is. Basically, what they're doing is they're authenticating you, and from then it'll allow you to set up a two-factor authentication method on here. So I'm going to pause right there. I'm going to go pull that code, and then we'll pick it up from there. After you enter in your login information and all that stuff, it'll take you to this little page right here, and you get a few different options that you can take a look at. In this case, you can see I already have two-factor authentication already on, but one option is text messages. You have additional methods you can take a look at in here that, such as if you go in here, you can set up a recovery code, and you can use these if you don't have access to your phone. That's another option. You can also use an authenticator app. This is probably in my opinion, probably the best way to go. Use an app like Google Authenticator or something like that. You click in there, it'll give you a little QR code. You scan it, and then you add it to your Authenticator app, and it'll have a constantly changing Authenticator code that you can enter in within I think it's like 20 or 30 seconds or something like that. Then you have security keys. Security keys are kind of cool, and they're these little dongle things that you can maybe put on a keychain or something like that. And you plug that into like the USB port or something in order to authenticate that it's you when you're logging into an account. They're a little less convenient, and you have to physically go out and buy one, but they are kind of cool. And then you also have the ability to do this trusted devices or whatever. Personal recommendation, I say go with an authenticator app. Text message is acceptable as well. They're less secure as far as text messages goes, but yeah, an authenticator app is a good way to go. After you set this up, X out of that, and just X out of the account center, and then you're gonna have to go back into where we were at to how to keep your account secure. You're gonna have to forward back on through. We already did that. Two-factor authentication, we just finished that, so we're gonna move forward. And then alerts. And basically, you can kind of read through it right here. When you turn on alerts, we'll let you know if someone logs into your account from a place we don't recognize. We'll tell you which device was used and where it's located. Something to know is if you're using a VPN, sometimes it'll pop up as not being recognized. Like, it's popping up from a random location it doesn't recognize, or if it's something along those lines. So I'd tell you, go ahead and turn those on. You want to know when someone logs into your account, right? You can put it on to Facebook, you can put it on to your email. Turn both on, why not? Next. That's it for that topic. Let's go review another one. Your data settings on Facebook. This one should be interesting. So we'll walk you through options to make sure your settings are right for you. Continue. All right, apps and websites. Here are the apps and websites from other companies you've used Facebook to log into and have recently used. You can remove any that you no longer want to use. In this case, you can see I don't have any set up, but personally, I wouldn't use Facebook to get into another app. I would set up an individual account for those specific websites. And reason being is, let's say somebody gets in your Facebook account. Well, now what other accounts do they have access to? You want to make it harder for them to do that. And that's it for that. So after we did that, we're going to go to your ad preferences on Facebook. Your ad preferences on Facebook. Continue. The ads you see on Facebook are personalized based on what we think you're interested in. This is because we want to show you ads that are relevant and useful to you. Okay, so now we're talking about the ad industry to a little bit of a degree. If you guys didn't notice, Facebook's one of the most profitable companies on the planet. But they don't really sell anything, right? Like who you're paying to use their Facebook account? Most people aren't. That's because the product is you and your data. Okay, like the advertising industry is a monster, and it is. I mean, if you can't figure out what the product is, you are the product. Okay, so what I would tell you to do is limit any of the settings that allow people to target ads to you, just because that's going to make it a little more secure. Now, is there really, like, for most of us out there, if you're not like an intelligence agent or something like that, there's not a whole heck of a lot that can be used against you if you're going more on the side of privacy. But just think about it. Like, let's say that, like an ad company has all kinds of data about you, your interests and whatever, and then let's say that company gets breached. Well, what information about you do they now have? Think about it that way, okay? I prefer to limit access. So let's take a look at what my options are here. Relationship status, employer, job title, education, all this kind of stuff. Some advertisers try to reach certain people by using information they have on here. Decide if you want advertisers to reach you based on this information. I'm of the opinion that they can take a hike. So I'm just gonna turn it all off, and I'm gonna move forward. Here, Rob likes Jasper's Market. Okay, social interactions are likes, follows, comments, shares, app usage, check-ins, recommendations, and events you joined on Facebook. You can decide whether your friends can see your social interactions alongside ads. For example, if you like a page that's running an ad, we might let your friends know that you liked the page when they see the ad. Here's what this could look like. And there you have it. Right now, it's set to my friends, right, that can see my social interactions. The other options here is only me. It's up to you on this one personally. I think if it's only up to your friends, that's probably not all like the end of the world, right? More secure is going to be only me, but if you want to have your friends, I don't think it's a huge deal personally. Some people might disagree with me. And that's it, guys. When it comes to your settings, that's kind of it in a nutshell, okay? So with that, we're going to move on to habits. All right, so first and foremost to me, this is kind of like a psychology thing, but if you ever feel a sense of urgency while you're using Facebook, just stop. Just take a breather, put your phone down, walk away from your computer, whatever it is, walk away for a minute and just calm down before you make a decision, okay? Most cyber criminals are trying to put you into like a heightened state of urgency in order to make you make an irrational decision and make a decision that's ultimately going to be more beneficial to them, right? They're trying to put you off guard. If you just walk away from a minute, that'll typically calm you down to where you can kind of make a more rational next move. This right here is probably the most important thing. I'd say even more so than having good settings, man. This just puts you in a better frame of mind to where you can make better decisions. So next, be mindful of what you're posting, okay? This doesn't just apply to cyber criminals. This also applies to just, embarrassment in life, right? You don't want to look back during a job interview. They do a background check on you. They look you up on Facebook and there's a bunch of embarrassing stuff from back in the day, right? So like just think right out of the gate when it comes to security, is there anything that I'm posting that can be used against me, right? Am I posting a picture of my dinner and my credit cards right next to it, right? This sounds kind of foolish, but I mean, I remember one time someone I love very dearly had a photo of me, but there happened to be my social security number in the background of it. They didn't realize that and they put it on Facebook. So I had to call them and say, hey, what are you doing? Just think about that kind of stuff. If something's going to be potentially sensitive that can be used against you, or if something's going to be embarrassing, or if there's something that could potentially be used to blackmail you, you don't want to post it on Facebook, all right? It's the internet. Even if it is just people that you've friended that is able to see that stuff, it's still the internet, and things have a way of growing legs and walking away. So just keep that in mind when you're posting things. All right, so next, keep your apps updated, all right? A lot of times, whenever an update's coming out, one of the things that's happening is the company itself, Facebook, they're finding vulnerabilities in their own system and they're pushing out patches to those vulnerabilities in the updates. So you're only going to get the benefits of those updates if you actually update the app. This doesn't just apply to Facebook. This applies to like everything in general. So anytime you have a available update, make sure you're taking the update. So next, be careful who you friend. I know it's a social media site. I know like you want to have a lot of friends and followers and whatever else. Just remember that there are a lot of ill-meaning people out there. A lot of the accounts that you're being friended by or being sent friend requests from probably aren't real people. There's a lot of bots out there. There's a lot of trolls out there. I've heard somewhere through the grapevine that there was like a whole agency in Russia that their whole job is to employ people to create fake accounts and to troll people online for disinformation or whatever, right? Just be careful who you friend. You're better off only friending people that you know or that you vaguely know or you at least are familiar with, right? Don't just blindly accept every friend request that comes your way. All right, don't share photos while you're still on vacation or away for work or whatever, right? If you do that, you're basically telling people, hey, I'm not home, come mess with my house. All right, so just a good habit to get into is just wait till you get home and then post those photos that you got on that cool cruise trip you just took. I already kind of talked about this in the awareness section, but whenever something feels off, have a way to authenticate people, okay? What I mean by that is, let's say that, someone's sending you a kind of suspicious message, like something just seems kind of off about it. It says something along the lines of, hey, Bob, someone is saying bad things about you. Click this link to see what they're saying. That would feel pretty weird to me, right? I would definitely, if I know the person that came from, I would definitely get on my phone and send them a text message and try to get a verification that this is actually the person that is sending me that message. More than likely, it's probably not. But just have some way of authenticating that person. Some people, like if it's a family member, you might even make up like a little verbal password that you have within your family that is just, if you say peanut butter or whatever, I don't know, they know that, okay, this is real. This is actually the person that they say they are. And if you challenge them with the password and they don't have it, then you stay away. Just food for thought. Limit the amount of time you spend on Facebook, and not just Facebook, but screens in general. Yeah, we do it for kids, but for adults, it's true too. Especially if you work in an office and you're behind a computer all day anyway. Not just there's a few reasons for it. Like, first of all, if that's where attacks are likely to come from, then why don't you limit the amount of time you spend there? So that's by itself going to lower your attack surface somewhat. But also just from a mental health perspective, like the more time you spend behind a screen, the more of a zombie you become, and you're not really living your life. So just think about that. Just limit the amount of time you spend on Facebook, and that'll make you a healthier person in general. All right, I've said this one several times before, but I'll say it again. If something sounds too good to be true, it's because it's too good to be true, okay? I know that fear of missing out can sometimes lead us to make some bad decisions, but the bottom line is, like, you guys, I would rather pay a little extra for something and know that I'm getting it legitimately than try to get some good deal, and next thing I know, I'm getting ripped off, and then I have to go get a new credit card or whatever, right? Just in the back of your mind, just realize, okay, if this looks a little too good to be true, you're better off missing a good deal and not getting ripped off than the other way around, okay? I know sometimes that can be a little bit counterintuitive, but especially when it comes to places like Marketplace, sometimes you see a lot of advertisements on there. Like I saw one time where they were advertising like these really good dumbbells for like, it should have been like a $300 set, and they were advertising for like $30, and they had some cool story about how a Dick's Sporting Goods was going out of business or something like that. And yeah, it was bogus. Bottom line was they were scamming people. So just know that stuff is out there, and they are, again, inducing that sense of urgency in you to get you to act, because that deal's only going to be there so long, hoping that you're going to make a bad decision. All right. Just break the chain by walking away and knowing that, okay, if I want those $300 dumbbells, I need to save up $300. All right, this is one that I think the ladies out there probably know very well from dating sites and stuff like that. But if you're gonna go meet somebody that link up with someone that you met on the internet, this is especially true on like Marketplace. If you're about to go meet up with someone to buy something, tell a friend that you're about to go someplace to meet someone. Tell them where you're going. Give them like a, hey, if I don't call you by this time, you mind checking in on me? Just because you don't know if that person on the other end is a well-meaning individual, or maybe they aren't a well-meaning individual. That's just food for thought right there. All right, next, don't trust people you've never met in person. All right, until they prove they're a real person with an actual heartbeat, they aren't. Okay, I know they said they were Jennifer Lopez, but until you actually meet J Lo in person, it ain't J Lo, brother. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I periodically review your settings. I think we already kind of talked about that before, but also your friends list. If you got that one friend that they got like 5 accounts, maybe you talk to them and be like, hey man, which one's your actual account? Because I'm not sure the other ones are actually real. All right, just think about that. If you see a bunch of people that you get to looking at and you're like, wow, I don't really remember friending that person, maybe you delete that one. If they're like someone that you realize you might have made a mistake friending, don't think that you owe people anything online, man. Like, this is your account. Like, if you don't want them to see your information, they don't have any business having it, right? I will tell you also, if a person looks like insanely hot, or like way out of your league or whatever, or just the photo just looks really good, it's not a bad bet that it's an AI generated photo that's meant to be a troll of some kind. So just you see those kinds of things in your friends list, just defriend them. It's not a huge deal. All right, guys, and last but not least, just remember the internet is forever. Okay, I don't care if you did put something up and then you realize you made a mistake and you took it down. What's to stop someone else from screenshotting the thing that you posted and then sharing it everywhere and it goes viral, right? Just think about that. The internet is forever. Before you fire something off, if you're really in a heightened emotional state or whatever, and you're going to post it on Facebook or any social media site for that matter, just take a second, take a breath, and then ask yourself, do I really want to throw this out there to potentially be there forever? Is this going to follow me around in other ways I'm not even thinking about? Is this something I can be blackmailed with? Is this something that's going to cause me embarrassment? Is this something that in a job interview in the future, this is going to come back to haunt me? Just think about that before you hit that send button or that post button. So that's it, guys. I hope you got something out of that. By all means, please let me know if there's anything that you do differently or something you don't agree with. Please leave it in the comments section below. I'd love to hear about it. If there's anything, any other programs you'd like for us to go over, like X or Twitter or LinkedIn, by all means, please leave that in the comments as well. We'll try to make a video to it eventually. This is our first one. We're hoping to get more of these going. By all means, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in a future video. Take care.